Well, tomorrow's the day. I mean, this is the week where we really have to see the Eagles turn things around to give us somewhat of a promising direction of where they are going to go. So let's find out.
We better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. I know it's Christmas Eve, and trust me, I don't blame anybody that does not watch the video today. I wasn't even planning on making anything, but this is nothing crazy, nothing nuts today. Hang out with your families, do your thing. But if you do tune in, I do appreciate it, and I don't blame you if you don't. So, I want to go over a few things for the day since we have a big game tomorrow. And this is a big game for a lot of implications on where this team is at mentally, where this team is at coaching wise. I know the players have been really giving a crap, and I know that, I feel like the players have taken more accountability than the coaches. I don't know what we're getting from these coaches, and hopefully we're getting something entirely different, and I'm hoping so. I mean, if you're not learning after these last 3 weeks, and I really don't know what to tell you. I don't want this week to be a big letdown for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that would be the saddest thing that could happen, and I hope not. So the first thing I want to go over is Avonte Maddox. Unfortunately, he practiced a few days this week in full pads, and he is not playing. He is out for this game on Monday, and I'm like, really? Man, he better play next week. That's all I got to say. He better play next week because this man needs to play in some games. And to play in the last 3 would have been perfect for him. But playing in the last 2, is it enough time? I hope so. But I don't know. Maybe they just didn't feel comfortable. Maybe this was more of like, let's just give them another week. We should be okay because it's the New York Giants. I don't know. I mean, they could be saying that at this point. I feel like any team has their number on us, really, at this point, if they don't fix things as of right now. So the start of this season, at least last season and this season, really, like for the past couple seasons, Maddox has been a big liability, man. And this is like his prove it type time of the year where he's got to stay healthy. And, depending on this really all depends on the scheme and what Matt Patricia does. And, because the scheme is over the players. I think every position is flawed on this defense because I don't think we're getting the best value and production out of every position because the scheme is so out of whack. You're not even stunting with your defensive lineman. You're not even blitzing barely. But, I can't blame last game too much on the defense, but Matt Patricia's first game as a play caller wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it was, anything was really better than what we had originally with Sean Desai. So, Maddox was a big loss on top of Zach McPherson. That was supposed to be the backup nickel, and it was just a total disaster with this position start. Going into next year is a totally different story. Maddox is a $10 million cap hit, which I don't think the Eagles are going to hold on to him at that unless they do extend him. But if they do extend Avonte Maddox after this year, they got to make sure that they have a lot, I don't know. They have to make sure that they have somebody that they can trust in the back end, depth-wise at nickel. And we'll see Rodgers coming off the gambling suspension. We'll see a lot of other guys. Josh Jobe has had a lot of, not Josh Jobe. Other guys have had work, in that position. And, we'll see. And I don't think we have a lot of nickel corners this year. I think that's probably our weakest spot. I'm not a big fan of Bradley Roby there. I'm not really a big fan of much of anybody there. It really depends on the pass rush and where we can get our fits in with these linebackers, which we're barely doing. So Maddox, hopefully the last 2 games will be playing. He has to. You can't just throw him in the last game of the season. It's still not enough time. He needs like 4 games, literally, before the playoffs. But we don't have that. So we don't have that kind of time right now. But it's amazing how he's coming back. It's almost like we're missing a heartbeat with this team. And as for Avonte Maddox being one of the most underrated nickel corners in the league, we're missing a heartbeat there. And hope all is well with him. And I hope he could. And I can't blame him. He hasn't played all year. So am I expecting him to turn around and 2 games, hopefully, but I can't promise anything for the moment, but we'll see. Now I want to talk more about Kelee Ringo. There's a lot of good things, man. The more I hear about Kelee Ringo, especially from a lot of the players that practice, especially AJ Brown that praised him a week ago, and then you had Slay kind of praise him, saying, I actually went up to the DB coach and was like, I don't know, but I've seen watching Kelee in practice against AJ. I see his fundamentals and technique was improving each and every day. I was like, man, he's been doing good. I like that he's getting a lot of praise right now. And, he got thrown into that Cowboys game and he played horrible. But this is what happens when you throw players into the fire. Sometimes they're not going to play well, and sometimes they'll play very well. Just depends. But, when he had a full week of practice as a starting outside corner, and, this is going to be another week for Kelee Ringo. Another week. I thought he did really well against DK Metcalf. I thought he did very, very well, and he plays physical, and I thought he did fantastic. And I think Matt Patricia, I think the run fits were really good too. For Kelee Ringo had some really good outside run support too, which was great. So I thought he got off his blocks pretty well. I think this is a player to definitely watch out for in the future here. I mean, I've been saying this the last week. I think you might have your number 2 guy. And when Slay comes back for the last game or for the playoffs, I feel like Kelee Ringo should be used in open field. Maybe Bradbury could play red zone. I don't know, but I feel like Ringo should be a full-time number 2. I mean, it's just crazy at the moment. Like, you're paying Bradbury 12 to 13 million a year. Went somewhere else and paid, got paid from another team 15 to 16 million dollars. Slay coming back, obviously the last 2 games Slay has played, were great. He did a really good job. Statistically. Kelee Ringo, though, I think there's something there, and I hope so. I know it's really early. He's only played literally 2 games, barely even that at this point. I don't want to get over the line about anybody. You know how I am about some of the Georgia guys, and especially Nakobe Dean, where, he's at this point so hurt to the point where he's not even back yet with two times on IR and missed so much time in the offseason, missed a lot of valuable time. But Ringo's been working his tail off, and Ringo didn't have a great preseason, great offseason, and it's his first year. So he's not a second-round pick, so I get it. But I think time is of the essence, and I'm hoping, for the rest of this year, they use him in a great way and shows promise. And I just don't want these players to look bad because the scheme is bad. And I think the scheme, like I said, the scheme has taken over almost everything at this point where, like I said, every position is flawed. You're not getting the most out of every position because it's just a scheme that nobody runs, and it's just not good enough at this point. And like I said, the secondary needs to be revamped. I think we've talked it. My number 1 issue going to the offseason, besides the coaching, is going to be the secondary. It needs to be revamped. Like, both outside corner spots need to be revamped, redone. And it really shouldn't take long. And I think with Kelee Ringo already being a set number 2, I think you're good here. I think that's one less guy you need to get. Depending on what Rodgers does coming off the gambling suspension and, whoever else kind of shows up, Eli Ricks. I'm not going to go too far with Ricks just because he has flashed a lot. I think he does need another offseason. Good things to be shown from him. But, he needs to, be more consistent as well. And maybe he's more of an outside guy than an inside guy. I don't really like him at the nickel spot, inside corner too much. I think the Cowboys game, he didn't really play that well. But like I said, these guys don't get much playing time. And when they do, they're either going to flourish or they're not going to look great. And I think Ringo got thrown into the fire, didn't look good, had preparation for another game, and played very, very well. So I think there is something there with him. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong at the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. But it's all about opportunity that's given to some of these guys. I haven't seen a team this year, especially when we're on our little run. I haven't seen a team this year where you can have injuries and they're throwing in undrafted free agents. They're throwing in Josh Jobe and they're throwing this one and that one and this one. All these guys throughout the year. And it's like, I don't see teams doing this all year. Multiple undrafted free agents, first-year players. It's crazy. the amount of new faces will come in, will take over for a position if somebody's injured, and it's kind of nuts. You don't see that happen too often. Like, you usually have good depth at certain positions, depending, but a lot of guys get chances on this team, especially defensively. Some of the young guys, first year players and stuff like that. So, or guys that've been here a couple years that really haven't hit their stride yet. So, like I said, Ringo's got a bright future, and you know, we'll see what happens. I think the team has praised him. Yes, I understand players are not going to throw somebody under the bus. I get it. So, we'll see what happens. Devonte Smith is close here with 3 games left of the season. 957 yards, and needs 43 yards to get 1,000 yards for another 1,000-yard season by Devonte Smith. A.J. Brown's already over that number. It's just crazy. It baffles my mind. Just the first half of the season, it's been A.J. Brown. The second half has really been more Devonte Smith. Really, A.J. Brown had that little argument on the sideline with Jalen Hurts. And really, after that moment where he wanted the ball more, it was 6 straight games with 125-plus yards to break Calvin Johnson's consistent receiving record in 6 games, which that's going to be really hard to beat. And then really after the bye, it was more Devonte Smith. And teams were starting to double on A.J. Brown a lot more because Dallas Goedert was hurt. But, the Eagles just dismissed the tight end position. Never did anything with it, never used it. Yeah, they threw the jack stall maybe once or twice in a few games that were there. But, I mean, the Eagles can't excuse positions. If someone's hurt, they can't just be like, okay, we can't go to him. We can't go to the backup. I think there's good depth at tight end. I think there's good depth at a lot of positions here. But when you have your 2 number 1 wide receivers and you came and scheme them, it's bad. If all you result in these receivers that you have, Eagle fans need to be more grateful for these receivers. Because I'm telling you right now, this is the best it's going to get when it comes to receiver, besides wide receiver 3, which I think is total trash right now, or it's just that the Eagles just don't give them opportunities. I would rather give Zacchaeus more opportunities than Quez Watkins, but at the end of the day, at the end of 2023, they can always draft somebody, okay? Not obviously that early, but, for a number 3, but still, always a time to upgrade things after the season's over. But Devonte Smith, though, very close, and another year where you can have 2 1,000-yard receivers, and, you're struggling this much. It's just insane right now. This game this week, this game on Christmas against the Giants, is so important to this team, and it's really important to us as fans because, at least as a content creator, and the fans have, we both deal with things differently because I have to show my face every day and talk about this every day. It's just been nerve-wracking the last 3 weeks. The first game, we got our ass kicked against the 49ers, and I was like, all right, they just got, they should be pissed off going into Dallas. Why wouldn't they? They get destroyed by Dallas, and then we really question where this team is, has the roster given up on the coaches? Have the coaches given up? Is Howie Roseman not putting a dagger in this thing and stripping play calling and letting these coaches do their own thing? I don't know what it is right now, but the implications are you lose against the Giants. That's 4 straight losses. This is going to remind me of 2014 when they were 9-3 on Thanksgiving and then lost the next 4 or 5 games, didn't make the playoffs. And the Eagles have a playoff game. We're talking about a playoff game still. From what I've seen from Jalen Hurts, from what I've seen from A.J. Brown, from Darius Slay this week, a lot of the players have taken accountability, and a lot of the players wanted to let the fans know, especially A.J. Brown, because I think he said it the best when he said, I don't want the fans thinking that we're not talking about stuff where I'm not working as hard, or, I'm always working hard. And that's what I want to hear. I haven't really questioned the players every week, but if the coaches are putting these players in bad situations, how can I blame them? It's like these players get all so pumped up during the week, and what we hear are great things. Once the bad play calling starts, the morale just goes down, and it puts them in a hole mentally. And I think that's what kind of puts them down a little bit, and it's a joke at this point, man. You don't want to see that shit. You never want to see that. You know, you want to see these players get all excited all week and they're working their asses off at practice, but they're not. These coaches aren't doing right by the players, man. It's just you're wasting value on this team. You're wasting Hurts. You're wasting these receivers. You're wasting almost every flawed position on both sides when you can't get things going. And I think that's what's the most annoying part about it. So, there's nothing else I could say, but strap up and fucking play football. And these coaches better be like, this better not be like a win in overtime or the Eagles win like by 3 points or I don't know. Like this better not be like a 17-3 game or something like for 4 quarters. I need to see a dominant first half. I need to see the run game going. I got to see DeAndre Swift with the ball in his hands a lot more. You're closer to playoff time now, and I don't care if this is just a regular season game. I don't care. Anything can happen on Sunday. By the time we watch this, I don't know. The Ravens, if the Ravens beat the 49ers, the Eagles have a good chance to get number 1 seed. But at this point, like, I don't know. Dallas plays Miami, and, the Eagles got to take care of their own business regardless. The Eagles control, you got to win out to win the division. I mean, that's just what it is right now. So that's all I got to say. I mean, I don't want to be pissed off Monday night, do I? Not really, but I hope not. I know I'm not going to be happy with everything. I know that I'll be complaining about some things, but because that's just what I do. But I'm hoping I've seen a better game against the New York Giants than I have the best team in the NFL against the 49ers, and obviously a division rival opponent that you play twice a year, and you look like you don't even know how to scheme against them. It's just that's how it is, man. How it is. So. But yeah, you enjoy the rest of your holiday. Enjoy Christmas Eve and into Christmas. And I'll see you guys Christmas. I'll be doing the live play-by-play. And I appreciate everybody that did watch the video today. If not, don't worry about it. Yeah, I mean, be with your families. Christmas is what it's all about. So, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes them up. Follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.